Hello, I'm John Nicholson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. YouTube channel that's exactly a week old today. So thank you very much for subscribing. I thought we could have a look at Donald Trump's first week as well. And it's been quite the week, hasn't it? A week filled with executive orders, some cruel, some absurd. But the gulf between what he promised and what he's delivered, of course, is as stark as many of us suspected it would be. Now, do you remember he said that he would end Russia's war against Ukraine on day one? He also said on day one he would reduce food prices, especially eggs, on day one. Well, I don't know about you, but last time I looked, the war's still continuing. So that's one promise broken. And on the food front, especially the egg prices, I noticed that eggs rocketed in price last week in America, and that the Department of Agriculture in America has said that they'll continue to rise for the whole of this year by as much as 20%. And of course, Donald Trump has no control over egg prices. It was nonsense when he said that he could reduce them. The reason eggs are expensive in America, as it happens, is because of bird flu, and so many hens have died. I mean, that's the reason. So he managed to break his biggest foreign affairs promise in the first week and his biggest domestic promise as well. But he did find time to obsess about trans people. He's banned trans people from the military, and there's more than 100,000 trans soldiers, Air Force personnel, and sailors. So that has a huge effect on a lot of brave men and women fighting for America, something that Trump, of course, never did, because when he had the chance to fight for America in Vietnam, he made up an injury, a bone spur in his foot, and like lots of spoilt, rich young Americans, he ran away and hid rather than doing what his country's leaders wanted him to do. He's also banned gay flags. He's obsessed with gay people. He's banned gay flags as well. And he's also said that everybody's sex is determined at the point of conception. That was an executive order. But of course, because he's not the brightest, what we've discovered in the last week is that the gender that you have, the sex that you have at conception is female. I'm not a scientist, but that's what the scientists say. And so what he's done by saying that you're chosen, you choose what your gender is, your sex is at the point of conception, is that he's effectively banned men in America. So everybody in America is now, according to Trump's executive orders, everybody is female. He's reinstated soldiers into the military who'd refused their COVID vaccinations. He's pardoned rioters who attacked police officers. The criminal president has released an army of criminals into American society. And he's also said that Americans have lost their birthright to citizenship. But that's unconstitutional and likely to be shot down. But worth remembering, I think, that Trump's own mother was an immigrant from Scotland, and almost certainly an illegal immigrant. So hypocrisy again on display. Then there's the question of sanctions. The very stable genius has imposed sanctions on a university in New York called Columbia. That's right. He thought that it was the country. He confused the university with the country. And while he wanted to impose sanctions on Columbia, the country, he imposed them on Columbia, the university, because he spelt it incorrectly in his executive order. What a twit. He's also challenged Denmark over Greenland. And in a very difficult conversation with the Danish Prime Minister, he apparently threatened her. Now we have the remarkable situation, I think it's the first time in the history of NATO, that one NATO country is threatening another NATO country. He says he wants to take over Greenland, which of course is part of Denmark. But I have a thought. Instead of stealing Greenland, why doesn't he steal some Danish ideas? free healthcare, for example, free universities, minimum wage, paternity leave, and maternity leave. Of course, none of those ideas are ideas that interest Trump. Then, as California burns, he's pulled the United States out of the Paris Accords. Absolutely shocking for the environment. He's pulled America out of the World Health Organization. Meanwhile, a whole collection of misfits and extremists continue to bask in Trump's orange glow. And who could there be more threatening than Elon Musk, the boss of Twitter? He's been all over the news this week because he gave a Nazi salute, a fascist salute, an American white power salute. Now, the BBC says, we can't know what was in his mind when he gave that salute. But of course, we do, because he's backed the German fascists. He's backed Tommy Robinson in England, a convicted criminal. He knew exactly what he was doing when he gave that salute. Isn't it remarkable in the 21st century that one of the American president's closest advisors is giving fascist salutes, not once, but twice? I think we're in for a bumpy ride. Do let me know in the comments section what you think.